Hello friends. Today I have prepared something special for you, but first I would like to really thank you for the response I have got from my initial two videos. There were not so many watchers, but some of them told me that I should continue, so I have decided to speak more about magic and spirits and mostly about my experience with them. I know that in my previous videos I have been promising to you to speak about Marbas and other goetic spirits, but I have this special feeling that I need to share something else with you. I would like to speak a little bit about a different entity, not primarily goetic spirits, but something that is also in the area of magic, and I would like to speak about jinns, which are known maybe by many of you from these old stories from Arabia, Thousand Nights and so on. But for those of you that are maybe from Middle East or those that were in these countries or have read about it more, you probably, or maybe you know that jinns are something like, they are very feared in this area, in these countries. The jinns are also mentioned in Quran, which is a holy book of course, of Islam. And they are described as beings that were here and were created by God before humans. And they were not created from soil or from flesh, but were created from fire. So these are the ancient texts that maybe try to explain to us that they are maybe from some kind of elemental origin. And it's also a lot of modern mages think that they might be an entities from perhaps maybe parallel world. But there are sometimes moments or times when they can interact with humans. I have tried to find more information about Jinn. Unfortunately, I don't speak Arabic, which maybe I will have to later learn a little bit more. So some type of documents were not accessible to me. But there are general agreements that there are many, that the jinns, they exist and they have their own complex society, similar to humans. They have their own nations, or they call them tribes. They have their own politics, own world that sometimes can be interacted with the human world. And there are many tribes of jinns. Some are more friendlier to humans, and some are totally unfriendly, like fiends. Of course, in Quran, it's strictly prohibited to speak with jinn because it can bring only disaster to you. But from the modern books, or for those that speak English, I would recommend maybe first one, which speaks about jinn in general. But I would have to warn you, this is a little bit darker aspect of magic practice. I don't like to use word like black magic, but this is really sinister way of working with entities. And this gentleman that is describing the jinns in his very nice book is Mr. Connor Kendall in his The Necromancer. It's relatively new. He speaks also about a lot of other entities and how to work as a necromancer. But there is a nice chapter about jinn, and he quite correctly points out that there are several tribes of jinn. Marit, Ifrit, Ghoul. Yeah, these are maybe not so friendly because these entities are very close to necromantic and dark energies. And he also mentioned one important tribe, and which is called Shaitin. So the legend says that this tribe of Jinn, they were jealous about humanity. That might be a propaganda, of course, from the time of Islam that tried to in that time, of course, it became a major religion, and you know how it is with religions, that all of these religions have their own truth. So according to the legends, the Jinn were jealous about human because the Jinn were created from fire, and they were more on spiritual from. And the leader of Jinn was Iblis, which is practically the name for Satan in Christianity. And he led this fight against angels, and of course they lost, and the Jinn were put into their own reality. But sometimes they come to people to either do some rituals with them or harm them, or anyway, humanity sometimes gets into contact with them. So it of course intrigued me a lot, because at that time, I have to say, I will speak, maybe it's similar to horror story perhaps, because at that time I was full of anger. I was just trying to solve some things, and I felt that I would need help of these entities to help me with something, and I wanted that for sinister purposes. And I have come into contact with a book which is considered like really, really black magic grimoire. It's called the Book of Smokeless Fire. It is written by a very famous American occultist, Mr. Esben Quain. And he says that he was able to get into contact or to discover some documents from Spain library. It's written in the book, some old manuscripts, and based on these manuscripts, he was able to create his own occult system, but that it's based on the entities from these old books. I am not sure about the history, as I don't speak Arabic nor Spanish, but I try to contact that entities according to the book. And I would like to tell you that really those that want to work with this book should be warned, because it's for advanced users, for people that really practice magic a lot. And previously I stated, of course, that you should not use some protections when working with demons or goetic demons. Demonolators do not use them normally, but for this type of or this specific tribe of Shaitin Jinn, you should be very careful. But I have decided to work with them, and there were several procedures, of course. I knew that they are not demons, that they are like parallel entity, that and I needed them for a work for magical attack, I will tell you. But first, I wanted to announce myself, as I tend to. So I worked with this, I would say, this entity that called himself Iblis, or we can say Satan, or I like the term deific mask, because Lucifer might have a lot of masks, more destructive ones, more peaceful ones. There can be mask of Lucifer as a Prometheus, or Dionysus, Lucifer, Satan, or Iblis, which is more destructive entity. And I created a pact. For those of you that say that pacts are not necessary, it's true, might be a psychological thing. Some people say that you do not have to have these original pacts with demons, or of course you don't have to offer soul or something like that, but you might offer services, or that several times during month you will do a ritual with the entity, or you will give her some specific gifts or so on. So I created this pact. And the pact was really hard because I wanted to have the power, and I wanted to get it very, very soon, because I wanted my ritual to succeed. And it was a great mistake at the time. I was not so, I would say, experienced. And when you start as a magical practitioner and you have this initial success, later on it's similar to drug, you know. You feel yourself omnipotent and you want to have more and more and more and more. And then you are starting to willing offer more to get more. So yes, this was tough deal. And the deal was agreed on. I will not say what I offered, but I made a ritual with one of the entities from the book, and the ritual was a success. You have to be, of course, prepared that if you do such kind of operation and it's a success, you have to be prepared for the success. Mostly in this destructive, aggressive magic. If it's done, it's done. But my contract or my pact was that it does not end with one operation, but this operation must be repeated at some time and regularly, which was very demanding for me, because I didn't want it to do that. These entities, these jinns, mostly in this book, they don't like humankind for specific reasons, and they can work with you if you point them towards something or some kind of target. If you are not able to give the target, or if you do the mistake in the ritual, then you are the target. And I wanted to end the contract because the contract was too demanding, also psychologically. If you have to perform such dark magic operation, you will become insane. It's too much, and you don't want to harm people, of course. Mostly those that don't deserve it. I still stand by it. And I didn't want to know what to do, because Iblis is a really strong entity. And what you give in pact, if you offer a pact, your name, in the world of magic, your name stand by it. And you are your promise in the world of magic. If you break your promise, it's tough. And I didn't want it to break the promise, I just wanted to change it. It's even hard today to speak about it, but I asked for help, and I say to you as a warning when you do the operations, always be aware of what you are offering. And I contacted my very friendful or friendly spirit to me, or my mentor, which is Belial, and I speak about him a lot, and I told him, Lord Belial, I really need your help, if you can help. And the response was, you are really stupid, what you did. And I summoned Belial and I summoned Iblis during one deep night. And Iblis was adamant. He was like, okay, so this warlock, or how to call him, or this stupid entity called Klaus, agreed on it, and he will do it because we have an agreement. And at that time, Belial, I heard the discussion between them. And Belial told him, but you want to use him for more, not you want to develop him for further times in the future. And if he's not able to deliver what he had promised, and then the Iblis explained this is his problem, then he will burn. But somehow they agreed on that I can stop with these rituals until it's said otherwise. So I don't have to perform this kind of rituals. You might say it's my own imagination, but your imagination become really real if you agreed on something. So it's a warning to everyone. Just be very careful what you offer, because then you can take consequences. So now I am very careful about the rituals, and this video is also something like a tribute to Jinn and to Iblis. I don't say that you don't have to work with them, because sometimes there is a reason to do it, if you have a good reason, but you should be very careful. They are very, very potent entities. They really do a lot of things. I would say that from like material physical perspective, they are real. And when you do this magic ritual with them, they can materialize. They like gifts, mostly meat, rotten meat, because they are of the necromantic entity. And they like darkness. They like specific times of a month when you have to summon them, mostly when during the new moon. But if you would be interested to learn more about Jinn, I am happy to oblige. They are also kinder type of Jinn, not this Shaitan tribe, but also types of Jinn more close to fire elements. They might be helpful in a kinder ways. They can talk to you about nature, about animals, and you can find them in lonely places, mostly in the nature, in deserts or abandoned housings. They are not only in Arabic countries, they are all around the world. If you search for them, you can find them. So be careful, my friends, and speak to you later.